my queen, cause she stays strong. Yeah, yeah. She is always in my corner, right there when I wanna. All these other girls are tempting, but I'm empty when you're gone. And they say, do you need me?
First with coach of Panathinaikos, please, Xavi. Good evening. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Real Madrid on this win. For what this means, I wish the best of lucks in the Final Four. We tried to be competitive. We had a lot of difficulties today. We've made few mistakes we didn't make in the previous games. Mainly during the first 30 minutes, pressure was very high to us. We may have been frustrated for having lost previous games that may have hurt us, and we couldn't be fully focused on, not because we weren't willing to, but we were too excited. That's why Real Madrid found easy ways to score. In the last quarters we were back, we had our choice, our options, but that Doncic 3-point shot killed us. So congrats to my teams for the job during the whole year. We fought a lot to get to here. We deserve to play this playoff, to fight it against a team like Real Madrid. We lost 3 games for just some points. It's not 1 or 2 points, but they were decided at the very end, probably because of the fouls or whatever. There were 6-7 points of difference, but we all had our odds to win. Questions for the coach, as always. Say your name and outlet. Ignacio Ojeda, Telemadrid. I'd like to ask you 2 things. When Luka scored the last 3 points shot, you looked like a little bit disappointed. What did you think then? Do you think that the threats of Panathinaikos owner will make that this is your last game in EuroLeague? For the last questions, I have no answer. I cannot guess the future. For the first, of course, we defended well until the last second of the game. Doncic shot, it was in, so I don't know what to say. Madrid was a little bit lucky in this shot. It's not that they didn't deserve to win, but they were lucky. And yeah, you can imagine which was my face when they score a shot like this at the very end of the game. Madrid did a great game. They deserve to be in the Final Four, and that's it. Javier Fernández Lillo, El Tercer Equipo. Good evening, Xavi. My colleague just asked you if you thought this was Panathinaikos' last game in EuroLeague. If it's the case, would it also be your last season at Panathinaikos? I can't give you an answer to that. I have a contract in force, and we have to see. I don't know how events will unfold in the future, but I can't give you an answer. I don't know. Ricardo Molinella, Agencia F. Xavi, Mike James has been almost the last quarter in the bench. Why? It was a technical decision? No. We were losing. We were getting closer with the team on the floor. We had a good defensive balance, offensive. We got as close as 3 points. 2 minutes to go. I don't know exactly, you know that better than me, but we couldn't win. So congrats to him on the playoff he played. But at that moment, we had found a good balance. We had choices, odds to win, but as you know, on the court, only 5 players can play. We took that decision. Planeta CB, you said in the first games that you wanted to have the same officials. You are the 5th person to ask me that. I was asked about the referees, and I said I hoped to have the same referees. I never said that they were bad referees. I never said they were bad. If you want to say that I was talking about referees when I've never talked about referees, that's a lie. I never ever talked about referees, never during the whole year. You may ask your Greek colleagues. That's the answer. You are the 5th person to ask me about that. I have never ever talked about referees during any one of the games. Any other question? Thank you very much.
Losing my favorite game. I'm losing my favorite game. You're losing your mind. I've tried, but you're still. I've tried. I'm losing my baby. You're losing a savior It doesn't hurt me. Do you wanna feel how it feels? Do you wanna know that it doesn't hurt me? Do you wanna hear about the deal they're making? It's you and me. And if only could, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. See if only could. You don't wanna hurt me, but see how deep the bullet lies. Unaware and tearing you asunder. Oh, there is thunder in our hearts. Is there so much heat for the ones we love? Oh, tell me we both matter, don't we? You. It's you and me. It's you and me. You won't be unhappy. And if only could, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. See if only could.
Lasso's assessment of the game. Well, I won't change my first line, of course. Congrats to my guys on this win. But I think this is not a day to talk a lot on this game. You will ask me about it. I will have to answer, of course. But I will tell you something which is on my mind about what we have gone through all this year. The price to play a Final Four is something incredible. Where you don't assess, where you don't value the job throughout all the year. It's been a very tough year to all of us. Very, very tough. For many reasons that we have suffered. Probably nobody reminds Randall's 13 minutes in the second game of Panathinaikos. Nobody remembers that to get here, Radonjic was a starter player against Milan with 18 years old. Nobody remembers that. Justa, as a starter, playing as a starter, we won 3 or 4 games in a row. I'm talking about this because they are the less valued players. Although for me, they are all the same. If Ayon or Randolph gets injured, by the way, he has gotten injured. He has to go through some tests. Let's see how he is. I think he has at least for 1 week. He's injured, and during the whole season, we've been able to keep on working, no matter what was going on to us. Games, trips, many days. So we've heard this sentence very often this year: what else can happen to us? And the answer was, there's always something more that can happen. And it happened. Actually, for instance, one of the best players of the EuroLeague couldn't play, like Facundo. If there's one day where I'm proud of all my team, that day is today. It is today. Normally, we tend to ignore this, but those of us who meet every morning in Valdebebas, doctors, physicists, press, my bosses, the players, we've gone through an incredible year. Today, we're going to play a Final Four, the 4 best teams in Europe, and this is something that cannot be ignored and that cannot be taken for granted. We could compete. We've been able to compete always. We had good days, bad days, but we've always been competitive, and we never lost our will to win. And today I'm very, very happy for getting to this Final Four in a very tough EuroLeague. We could play off without home court advantage, with a great team which is physically very well prepared, very athletic, with a high capacity on 1-to-1, with a lot of outside shooting. And this is a day actually to congratulate many people. I said it the other day, the crowd in the arena was outstanding, and we have to be proud of all the people who have worked to get here, and we played incredibly well. It was difficult to us to get to the game, to begin it properly. We had a great advantage, and when everybody thought it was done, the only damned who thought that it wasn't made, that was me. But that's my job. We stopped a little bit, we slowed down a little bit. they were doing great, and we couldn't wait for the game to end because they were coming closer. Finally, we could win, and we did this great success. Questions? Noemi Fernandez, Real Madrid TV. Pablo, congrats. Good evening. Besides the prize, you have just explained how you've get to here during this season. Fifth Final Four in 6 years. What does this mean to you? Well, this explains very well what Real Madrid is, actually. This is a machine that begins, obviously, from the president, where everyone pushes. We all push forward here. I'm proud that you ask this to me because this means that the team has been in a top level during many years, and that begins from everything, from that little boy you meet on the street who says, "Let's try to get to the Final Four." He also pushes forward. We are all here to achieve successes like today. We have to enjoy this. I always said we have to enjoy these moments. But tomorrow it will be another day. There's a lot of season to go yet, and as I said, the guys, let's keep on being ambitious. Let's keep on believing. Let's keep on working. We have the end of the National League. We have the Final Four. And let's keep that competitive spirit we've had during the whole season. Hi, Pablo, Lucas, Álvaro, El Mundo. You said you played incredibly well. Regarding this, thinking of the Final Four and the end of the National League, you think that you hadn't played so well in a long time? Do you think that? I think that the strength of a team is finding the best situations. I mean, I think I have great players. They all have a role, they all have a mission, they are all important. After that, they can adapt better to the opponent, depending on the moment of the season. So in that regard, I think they are all necessary. Every team is different, and there are days where I talk about the center. There are days where one specific player is more important. It depends on the way you play. Eddie plays better with Facu. Facu isn't here, so we need all of them. They all have to be ready. And I think that today, and during the whole series, the play have been improving its skills, growing up. I am very demanding about it. I want them to play better every day at an individual and team level. So as I said today, I think we've done a great basketball game to achieve a very important goal to us. Good evening, Pablo. Congrats. Which are the virtues of this team so that during these 7 years you've been winning? How can you reformulate the message from the coach to resist during the season and get to another Final Four? Well, the character of a team, the character of every player, or of every person, whether you have it or not, the character. I think that you can also shape your character in working groups. I think from our position we try to transmit the fact that our players should try to be better every day so that the team is better every day. I hate players who don't want to be that way. Honestly, I hate it. I hate it. Personally, I'm not talking like a Real Madrid coach. That's been the case throughout all my career. I want players who want to be better, who want to be better. And I think I have a roster who accept this and who want to put this in practice. Of course, we transmit this to them, but they do understand it, and they push themselves forward to be better. I have a 38-year-old player, and if you see him every day, do you ask me about Felipe Reyes? He's great. I'm not surprised about him. I see him every day. He always does something better. Probably he cannot jump like 10 years ago. Okay, that's a physical problem. Neither can I. But he has ambition. That desire to be better every day is something that for us that cannot be negotiated. Hi Pablo, Villancámara, el español. If Lasso in 2011 was told about all the successes he would get in Real Madrid, what would he have said back then? I would have never looked in such a long term. This is not my way of being. I cannot answer you to a question that I don't know. I would talk you even more about personal things, personal issues, because in my job I don't think so long term. That's not the way I am. I try to live the present, the near future. I don't think twice on what happened. I try to look forward. And in 2011, I couldn't even think where I would be in 2018. These 7 years have gone through very quickly. I enjoy them every single day. To me, as a coach, getting to Valdebebas every morning, drink a coffee, talking about what we have to do, preparing the training. That's my job, and I'm happy doing that. So, 2011's Lasso wasn't thinking about what could happen in 2018. Pablo Javier Rodriguez, Planeta CB. One question about the game. How did you see that three-point shot to Luka Doncic? You almost grabbed him from the air to take him to the bench. Second question. You are always optimistic, but I'd like to know you how often you've said to yourself, there's no way to be successful this year with everything which has gone on. No, never. I don't see a game won when we are 20 ahead, and I never see a game lost. I may be pissed off when I'm told that Facu has to go through surgery. Now I can't say that I'm happy. No, I'm pissed off. But that lasts what it lasts. Regarding Luka's shot, Luka has a star. Luka, he actually has a star. He made his debut here against Unicaja. He received the ball, he shot, and that was in. He is a great player. He has a star. And probably this was a decisive shot. But as a coach, I don't only see this shot. The team has done a lot to win the game. We were ahead almost all the game. And we were having problems to close the game with that three-point shot. That was it. Tomorrow you will all talk about this move, but what I think is that I have to get ready for Final Four. Ignacio Ojeda, Telemadrid, congrats on the win. After the second game, you told that story. I don't know if it was someone with the hands. No, the tobacconist It was a tobacconist with stores selling tobacco, newspapers, candies, and he was a guy from Olympiacos, an Olympiacos fan, and we bought a Real Madrid ball he had there. And in the first and second game, he told us, "Mr. Asogane, tell you something. You play like chicken." That was it. I don't know if you were with me. You play first day. Give me a couple of candies. Do you understand? Yeah, I understand what you are saying. What you are saying to me. This is a true story. It's funny, I know it. He wasn't very mistaken, actually. That famous Athens tobacconist. Well, the question is behind that story. I imagine, which is when you meet your team, what do you have to change to win this series? What do you do? What key do you press to turn it all around? Well, of course, in a playoff, whether you win by 3 or by 1, it's worth the same. That's a very first thing. This is easy, but it's not always easy to understand in a game. A game finishes, it's 1-0, that's it, 1-1, the game is over, and then there is another one. This is something we work with them, we talk to them about this, and then, of course, we make them see the things we did wrong in the first game. This is, to be honest, the game plan from the first to the second, we didn't change a thing. We changed situations which were difficult. We didn't have Facu. Luka had to play many minutes as a guard. We changed situations that was better for Goose. He could touch the ball. You saw them. But don't you think that we changed a lot the game plan? Any other question? Last question. Good evening, Pablo. Congrats on the win and on the season in general. Now, the Final Four. My question is very easy. Do you think Real Madrid is the favorite team? What's the difference for you regarding last year Final Four in Istanbul? Thank you. I always think Real Madrid is the favorite team. I always think so. I always think Real Madrid is favorite. I always think Real Madrid can always win. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. I also think we can lose, of course. I read Xavi at the beginning of the series saying that we were the favorite team. That's great. I'm the coach of Real Madrid. We have to accept that. So, to me, that doesn't change a thing to me. I don't think this changes anything. Of course, I have my view on how we are, how difficult things are to us, but that's just for me. But I don't think that Real Madrid is not the favorite team. I never think that. That's not the way I am. Regarding Final Four, every Final Four is different. No one thought that in the first one I played as a coach in London. No one thought that we could get there. We were winning by 17 at the beginning of first quarter, but we didn't win. Every Final Four is different. And now, the CSKA won. So the favorite, I think, is CSKA to win the EuroLeague. So you will say later that we are the favorites. I'm not worried about it. Right now, we will be playing against CSKA. We've never played a semi-final against them. I think a third, a fourth position game last year. You may imagine my opinion on that game. Now we have to recover from this great effort and get ready to that game in the best possible way. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
My many artifacts, the